St. Charles Parish website has a new look and a new name. Welcome to stcharlesparish.gov, the new and improved home for all things St. Charles Parish. For the past 10 months, the public information
Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Monday, June 20th, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electrical devices and remove all hats. This meeting is called to order with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance from Pastor Tony D. Smith Sr. with True Vine Baptist Church in Hahnville.
Dear God, we thank you for yet another day being on the land of the living. Dear God, we thank you for your grace, and dear God, we thank you for your mercy. Dear God, we're asking right now that you would clear our minds, clear our thoughts, let us be able to clearly hear from you as we make decisions as it concerns our communities. Dear God, we're asking that you would guide our hearts. Dear God, open our ears that we may clearly hear from you, that we make wise decisions on behalf of the people we serve. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Smith. A motion and a second is needed to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of June 6, 2022. I have a motion by Ms. Billings, second by Ms. Gordon. Please go ahead and cast your votes. And that motion passes with 6 yeas, with Councilman Gibbs, Councilwoman Cormier, and Councilwoman Belloc absent for the night. Special business proclamations, 2022-0183, in recognition, Bishop Otis Kenner, Regional Planning Commission. Ms. Billings.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President deeply appreciate your years of service on the Regional Planning Commission. Bishop Otis Kenner, January 8, 2018 through August 14, 2020. Is he here? Okay.
God be the glory for the things that he has done. To you, Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, to you, Ms. Billings, to the men and women of this council. My motto is, I'm anointed to serve. It has been an honor for me for the last 30 years to serve St. Charles Parish in any capacity that I can. Resigning now from this position is only because I've given so much to ministry and to service. I decided now that I need to spend more time with my family. But it has been an honor to serve, and in any other capacity that I can serve in consideration of my family, I don't mind doing it. Thank you all very much for giving me this recognition.
2022-0184 in recognition, Ms. Gloria Miller, 2021 National 4-H Lifetime Volunteer of the Year. St. Charles Parish, in recognition, whereas Ms. Gloria Miller, a resident of St. Charles Parish, residing in Norco, Louisiana, with her husband Terry Miller. They are the proud parents of Tammy Acosta, Tommy Robelo, and Tracy Candelaro. Grandparents of Victoria Mathern, Tristan Acosta, and Gabriel Overton. And whereas Mrs. Miller has served the Louisiana 4-H program over the past 2 decades, she currently serves as a project club leader of the St. Charles 4-H Fashion Club, a St. Charles 4-H Foundation board member, a St. Charles Parish Louisiana Ag Overall Advisory Leadership Council member, and a St. Charles Parish 4-H Advisory Leadership Council member. She is an active member of the Louisiana 4-H Volunteer Leaders Association, where she has served as treasurer, attended several VLA conferences, and several Southern Region VLA forums in Rock Eagle, Georgia. And whereas, as a club leader, Ms. Miller plans and offers several age-appropriate sewing workshops each month. She incorporates service learning into the club by having members sew items for people in need. She mentors club members and the Louisiana State 4-H Fashion Board members. A few of her many contributions to the 4-H include sewing beanbags for junior leader team building games, armrests for 4-H shooting sports, and quills made from 4-H T-shirts for volunteers, the Volunteer Association, and for raffles. And whereas Ms. Miller continues to serve as a positive role model for all youth and create a safe, inclusive environment for young youth to reach their full potential. She embodies the 4-H pledge and encourages youth to use their heads to larger thinking, hearts to greater loyalty, hands to larger service, and health to better living for their club, St. Charles Parish community, country, and the world. Whereas in 2013, Ms. Miller won the Above and Beyond Award from the Louisiana 4-H Volunteers Leaders Association. And in 2017, Ms. Miller was included in the Louisiana 4-H Hall of Fame. On an annual basis, she is recognized as an outstanding 4-H club leader. Therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the parish president, do hereby offer this recognition to Mrs. Gloria Miller, 2021 National 4-H Lifetime Volunteer of the Year.
We'd like to present this as well, and we'll say a few words afterward, but while we're doing the photos.
I'd like to thank you all for this honor. It's really, really been a great honor working with our youth through the parish. It makes you feel so good when you get something across to one of them and they finally learn how to do it. Thank you all.
I just wanted to say a few words on behalf of Miss Gloria. As you can tell, she is very humble. So as a 4-H agent, I just wanted to say a little bit about her. I cannot say enough good things about Miss Gloria, and that's why she has this national recognition for being a 4-H national lifetime volunteer. She does embrace the notion, and we've said that a lot, that there's something for everyone in 4-H, and she continues to encourage and work with very diverse audiences to create a safe, inclusive environment for youth to call home. Through her time thus far as a 4-H volunteer, Ms. Miller has impacted thousands of youth by providing experiential hands-on learning experiences, being a positive role model, and bridging generational gaps and nurturing youth and adult partnerships. Ms. Gloria is one of the most giving, loyal, one-of-a-kind, reliable, impactful, and accepting people that I know and extremely deserving of this honor, on which she's recognized not only at a national level, but now at the parish in which she grew up and lives and serves. So thank you so much for recognizing her for that.
There you go. All righty. 2022-0185, in recognition, Ms. Trishan Charles, 2021 4-H Hall of Fame inductee. Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Parish of St. Charles, June 20th, 2022, in recognition. Whereas Ms. Trishan Charles, the daughter of Edward and Virginia Jackson, is a lifelong resident of St. Charles Parish, residing in Destrehan with her husband, Waylon Charles Sr. They are the proud parents of Waylon Charles Jr., Perry Charles, and Isaiah Charles. And whereas Mrs. Charles, a former St. Charles Parish 4-H member, is a leader of the St. Charles Parish 4-H Chef Club, Cooking, Healthy Eating, and Fitness. For 7 years, she has provided youth with hands-on education on a healthy living through interactive cooking, demonstrations, and fitness activities. And whereas Mrs. Charles has given her time and talents to 4-H Camp for 12 years and 4-H University for 8 years, and she continues to chaperone 4-H Camp, 4-H Regional Challenge Camp, and 4-H University. And whereas Mrs. Charles is an active member of the St. Charles Parish 4-H Advisory Leadership Council and is a member of the Louisiana 4-H Volunteer Leaders Association, where she currently serves as the Southeast Regional Representative. She has attended the VLA Conference and Regional Volunteer Leader trainings, making her best better through 4-H leadership. And whereas each year, Mrs. Charles is recognized as an outstanding St. Charles Parish 4-H Club leader. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby offer this recognition to Ms. Trishan Charles, 2021 Louisiana 4-H Hall of Fame inductee.
Good evening. I'm not a public speaker. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it, and I love volunteering my time, especially with the 4-H camps and 4-H universities. I'm in the house of all men, so going to the 4-H camp with 600 girls is a pleasure for me. And I've missed it the last 2 years because of the pandemic and the situation, so prayerfully next year we'll get back to it. I just want to thank you, and I'm truly grateful to God for this opportunity.
I forgot to mention this. Both of our volunteers are, as you noticed, they're 2021 Volunteer Award winners. Both of them have been displaced from their homes due to the hurricane, with devastating floods and very much hurricane damage that have been living outside of the parish and are finally returning home. So let's just say it's been a rough road for them, but as you can tell, 4-H is not far from their hearts, and they can't wait to be able to bridge those gaps with those youth. Ms. Trishan, as she said, she's a house full of boys, and I say it's her girl time. Whenever she's coming to 4-H camp with me, that's our girl time. So her boys are off at college, and some graduated, doing their thing, and she's there to be able to be that positive role model for our youth, not only the girls, but the boys as well. So I definitely want to appreciate you recognizing her for that, and we are looking forward to having our volunteers be part of our 4-H family and continuing with that road of success. So thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for all you do for St. Charles Parish. I know it's hard sometimes, but we do appreciate it. I'm sure our youth do. 2022-0188, proclamation, 246th anniversary of American independence. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. A proclamation. Whereas the spirit of liberty and independence inspired the Second Continental Congress to resolve that these United States colonies are and right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. And whereas the Congress appointed a committee of 5 consisting of John Adams, Roger Sherman, Benjamin Franklin, Robert Livingston, and Thomas Jefferson to draft a declaration presenting to the world the colony's case for independence. And whereas on July 4th, 1776, 56 delegates to the Second Continental Congress risked their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to sign the Declaration of Independence and to assert their conviction that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas July 4th, 2022 marks the 246th anniversary of American independence, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this memorable anniversary and to the patriotic exercises that will commemorate the occasion. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim July 4th, 2022 as the 246th anniversary of American independence, and urge our residents to reflect on the blessings of liberty and on the rights, privileges, and attendant responsibilities of citizenship in our great nation. Be it further resolved that all citizens in the parish are invited to attend the 32nd annual festivities at the St. Charles Parish West Bank Bridge Park in Luling on Sunday, July 3rd from 6 to 9 p.m. with a fireworks display at dark. Here to accept is the American people, but I think we're giving it to Samantha.
Thank you, Council and Parish President. We're really excited about our July 3rd event this year at the West Bank Bridge Park. As stated earlier, we'll have a new band. The Bucktown All-Stars will be performing for us this year, along with Ella Grace, who graced us last year with her national anthem, so she'll be there as well. And then we have a brand new fireworks show this year, which can be viewed either from the West Bank Bridge Park or other areas in the parish. I know lots of people like to watch it from the East Bank, too. So look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. A motion and a second is needed to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2022-0190. In recognition, John Joseph Joganote, Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, a matter not on the agenda. I have a motion by Ms. Billings, second by Ms. Fonseca, to deviate from the regular order of the agenda to take up file number 2022-0190. Is anyone like to come up and speak on the deviation? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment on the deviation is closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes on the deviation only. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0190, in recognition, John Joseph Joe Ganote, Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. As much as I don't want to have to read this right now, it's my absolute honor and privilege to do so. The Parish of St. Charles, June 20th, 2022, in recognition. Whereas John Joseph Joe Ganote began his career in public service at the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office Patrol Division at the rank of deputy in June of 1998. And whereas Joe successfully served in many positions during his tenure at the Sheriff's Office, including deputy in Uniform Patrol Division and detective in Special Investigations and Criminal Investigations Divisions, and whereas Joe was promoted to the rank of sergeant in March of 2008, and promoted to lieutenant in October of 2009, then finally promoted to captain in 2013. Whereas Joe graduated from the 247th session of the FBI National Academy in December of 2011. He also served on the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office Special Response Team as an operator from 2003 to 2006, team leader from 2006 to 2008, assistant commander from 2008 to 2011, and then team commander from 2001 to 2016. And whereas Joe joined St. Charles Parish government as the Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness in May of 2016, during his tenure he led the only 24/7 emergency operations center in the state of Louisiana through numerous major events, varying from industrial incidents to the worst tropical event to ever impact our area, Hurricane Ida. And whereas Joe played an instrumental role in increasing the St. Charles Parish EOC's capabilities with one-of-a-kind drone detection system and advanced weather stations. And whereas Joe served in many leadership roles, including board member of the United Way of St. Charles, chairman of the Louisiana State Regional Directors Task Force, chairman of the Louisiana Region 3 Task Force, sits on the Area Maritime Security Committee through the Coast Guard, and is a member of Infraguard. And whereas the leadership and tenacity Joe brought to St. Charles Parish will be greatly missed, we wish him all the best in his future endeavors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby offer a tribute and recognition to John Joseph Joe Ganote, St. Charles Parish Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, May 2016 through June 2022. And I think Joe's here to accept.
Wow, it's a lot of years. Members of the council, chairman, Mr. President, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity tonight. I'm deeply humbled that you guys would take the time to recognize some service that I had here in the parish, but moreover, it's been such a privilege for the last 25 years to serve the residents of St. Charles Parish, ending up here in the EOC with a great team of young people and that do such a fantastic job and very supportive of me. Of everything that I've ever accomplished in this world, you always have an advocate. You've got somebody that's pushing for you, whether it be a leader or someone who wants to mentor you, and I've had many along the way. And none of those things that I've done would have ever amounted to anything without somebody advocating for me, all the way up until this very point where, you know, Mr. Jewell could have came in and brought in another emergency manager, and he had faith and trust in me, and I certainly am humbled and appreciate that. But one of the hardest jobs I've ever had is going home at night and trying to make the right decision, praying every night to make the right decision for 52,000 residents when you're starting to talk about major events that could impact everyone. So I'm incredibly privileged to have had this opportunity to serve the parish of St. Charles in the sheriff's office and here. Made some great friends, great relationships, but I know the EOC is in great hands with Jason and the team. I can't tell you how valuable they have been to my career. What a great group of folks who I worked with. They didn't work for me. We worked together, and they should be in the front. I mean, they did the work. They've got the knowledge, and they supported, and we got a lot of things done together. And I'm very proud to have had worked with those folks, and certainly with all the directors who supported me along the way when we're making tough decisions in that EOC. Many times we've been in that EOC activated, and I mean, the support's just been incredible, and I just certainly appreciate it. I'm very humbled to be here today. So thank you so much. I'll just be right down the street, and it's going to be a new adventure, and I'm excited for that. So, but that never happens without this. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, a motion and a second is needed to return to the regular order of the agenda, please. Got a motion by Ms. Fonseca, a second by Mr. Dufresne. Please cast your votes. And that motion passes unanimously. Reports, finance, administrative activities. 2022-0177, the Department of Emergency Preparedness and Hurricane Preparedness. Is it Jason?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my privilege tonight to present to you our report for 2022 from our department. A lot of things to talk about this year, especially how busy we've been. And I'll just say it's never the goal of our department to constantly stay in a response mode or emergency response mode. We really like to do preparedness as well. But you see, since 2020 with COVID and the amount of natural disaster we've had, we have spent a lot of time in the disaster response mode, even though we continue to try to get better and do as much preparedness as we are able to go on with that. So a little bit about our stats that we've had over the last year. In 2021, we've had 17,088 logged entries. That's it's about 1,800, approaching 2,000 more entries than we had in the prior year. I think really you could attribute that to Ida, but also we also see a gradual increase in the calls that we receive for service every year. It's a gradual increase, and I think it's, the different responsibilities that we pick up and different things that we do, and also people learning that, hey, if after hours or if we have a need, we could call the EOC and action's going to take place, and we could get an answer even if it's on nights, weekends, those type of things. So far in 2022, we've had 5,500 log entries. Okay, so our bigger events, as you know, in the Emergency Operations Center, we classify all of our emergencies. It starts at the lowest level at unusual event, and at the top level is a general emergency. For 2021, we had 10 alerts. That's our second classification. That's really where we're taking some sort of protective action, is when you're going to step up to that alert. We had 2 tornado warnings. We had 2 hazardous materials incidents. And, of course, not to go through each one, we'll get into them later. We also, of course, reached that general emergency level with Hurricane Ida. Interesting fact about that, we've only ever been to a general emergency for natural hazards, for hurricane events. So we haven't attained that through any other type of emergency. And then the one previous to that would have been Hurricane Isaac in 2012 when we got to that. So far this year, we've had 4. We've had 4 tornado warnings, and I don't think anybody's a stranger to that. Of course, we sound our outdoor warning sirens, 4 tornado warnings to warn the public. There's a few more than what we had last year, with only 2 tornado warnings taking place in 21. Unusual events is our lowest level classification event. We had 289 last year. 47 of those were natural hazards. 81 were industrial hazards. 2 Homeland Security events. And then, of course, 95 drone events, and 64 miscellaneous. Just to talk a little bit about the drone incidents, give you some information. Of course, you know that we implemented that program November of 2020. Since then, we've had 133 drone reports, and we're only calling out a report when it breaches one of those critical infrastructure facilities. And if you come to the EOC and look at our mapping, you'll see we have those areas marked off. So if we get a drone report inside one of the critical facilities and we have to dispatch proper personnel to go and respond to that and see what's going on and why that person's flying a drone in that area, that's when we create a report for that. So far, we've had 133 of those incidents, and I'll say we do get a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention for the drone program that we did. It was something that Joe and Jim brought in to our department, but we don't do it for the notoriety. It's actually for keeping our critical infrastructure safe and also looking at that, and it's really been groundbreaking for us and something we're learning about more and more as we move forward with it. And actually right now we're looking at new technology that's already available that's going to allow us to do more things and get more information about the drones and then have more information on how we respond to them. So it's an evolving program that we were really fortunate to be able to get in and have the partnership with industry to bring that in early on as that technology and hazard kind of took place. For exercises for this year, exercises are really what we do to get better. Of course, we write emergency plans and then we have exercises. For people who don't really know how that looks, we bring in different agencies and we'll sit around a table, whether it's our office or meeting somewhere regionally. It could be anywhere from our neighboring parishes or our regional parishes to state offices, also nursing homes, home health care agencies. Every year we're sitting down with these people, bringing them to the table. We'll run mock emergencies, hurricane scenarios, things like that, and then talk about after the exercise what went well, where our coordination may have not been up to par, and ways we can improve from those exercises. So these are some of the ones that we're doing this year. Some of them we've already done. We have some with industry, of course, as I mentioned, with the nursing homes and home health care agencies. We do those every year prior to hurricane season. One of these to mention that's a little bit different, where it's not an exercise really to, although it can make you better, and it does make you better because we go back after the fact and looked at how well we performed or maybe things that we could correct, but is the Water for Three exercise for SCORE. That's something we do biannually. And we have evaluators from FEMA that come in and actually grade our performance on how we're able to perform under a given scenario with Water for Three. So we had that drill in March, and of course, as been our record in the past, we got through that drill with no issues, and the evaluators even had some very positive comments to make about our agency and the things we do. So definitely was a great experience for us, having new staff around, having not done that exercise before. In addition to exercises, I don't have a slide for it, but something we do is also after action reviews. After any of those events that you saw to alert or hire, we'll have an after action of all of the responsible parties. We basically just bring everybody into the table and we talk about areas that we can improve as a group. What didn't go well for the event? We were able to do that with all of our parish departments following Hurricane Ida. The EOC met with each department individually. And then we culminated it by bringing everybody together in late May, where we combined all of those from each meeting. We talked about the things we've done since Ida to correct the problems that we found, and also items that we still have to continue working towards to be better. Not only do we talk about the bad things that happen, we also share our successes. And that's something you want to capture in your plans as well, is talk about the things you did well to make sure you continue doing those moving forward. Public notifications, we of course have a layered public notification system. The Everbridge system is what this slide reports to. We made 386 notifications on that between May 1st of 2021 and May 1st, 2022. But, we noticing now, back when I started my career here, our Channel 6, our cable override systems were really big, but as people get in to cut the cord, those systems are becoming less effective. And what I just want to do is encourage people that if you aren't signed up for one of our notification systems where you can receive an alert, whether it's to your home phone, your cell phone, whatever, please go to the website, sign up for it, call our EOC and sign up for those notifications. Or just make sure you have a way. If you still have cable and that's going to work for you, that's good. If you want us to call your home phone, we can still do that. If you hear the sirens, of course, that's another way. But we have that layered notification system. We just want to make sure that everybody has some form of fashion from hearing from us when there's an emergency, that we're able to get those notifications out. And if you need help with that, of course, anytime they could call our office and we'll figure out what's the best solution for notifying them. As our interaction with the public, with our public notifications, when we're not in emergencies, when we're in blue sky time, something we really enjoy doing is doing public speaking events. I did one in Destrehan just last week, and it's a really, I think, mutually beneficial where they could ask questions directly to me or one of our staff when we go out and talk about hurricanes, but we give presentations on anything. If you want to base the hazardous materials safety presentation or Homeland Security presentation, we could have somebody go out to your civic organization, church group, any sort of group like that. We'll go out and do that presentation. And especially with small groups, it's really helpful. And there was a lot of questions last week that I got at the presentation I did that, we don't always know what's going on, or the questions that people have. But when you have a small group and they're able to say, well, what's going on with, why aren't the insurance companies responding after Ida, or why did y'all take these actions, protective actions? Why are y'all calling evacuations for these events? We're able to have one-on-one conversations during those presentations, and I think it's very beneficial. In addition to that, we also had an open house that we held last week at the EOC. We did have people show up for it, and I think we had good feedback from the people who showed up. Of course, the turnout wasn't as great as we'd have liked. We would have liked to pack the house, but of course, we understand that people lead busy lives, and we just want to provide as many opportunities. Even if I have to go out and do a presentation to 2 people, which we've done before, well, only 2 people, hey, that's 2 more people who knew today than they did yesterday. So it's a benefit to us, and we're going to take the time to do that. 2021 hurricane season. I talked about the presentation I did last week, and it was actually kind of amusing to me when I talked about Tropical Storm Claudette, which hit actually a year ago, which would have been yesterday. A year ago yesterday, we had Tropical Storm Claudette, and the amount of people that kind of forgot about it. What was that again? Did that really hit here? And yeah, it did. So, of course, June 19th, Tropical Storm Claudette made landfall, pretty much the same area as Hurricane Ida did, but on a different track, and we were affected by that, if you remember. And then, of course, we had Hurricane Ida following that up. And then we went on, and we also had some effects from Tropical Storm Nicholas. What I think our biggest concern, because we were so damaged, is really just the people who were able to have their roof patched already by the time Nicholas came, that they were going to lose that tarp or whatever. So we had a significant amount of rainfall with Nicholas during that nightfall time, but really no, I don't know what other impacts we could have had at that time, but really didn't see any additional adverse effects from it. 2022 hurricane season, these are the names, of course. Like I just mentioned, by this time last year, we were all ready to the sea storm. We're only at Alex, which went across Florida a few weeks ago, right at the beginning of hurricane season. So, our point with this slide, we've presented this probably for 20 years, the same slide is that, hey, June 1st began hurricane season, and it's not until November 30th, and we've seen storms not necessarily impact us here outside of those months, but people really need to remain vigilant. Just because we had a major impact last year doesn't mean we're safe to go this year, that we could just as easily have another Ida or even worse as we go into this hurricane season. So these are all of the ways you could stay tuned to stay in touch with St. Charles Parish. We have Cox Cable Channel 6, the website, all of our social media channels, and of course our emergency messaging system. So with that, I just want to close by saying, Hurricane Ida, it's really hard for me when I try to put into words like what would you actually speak about, because so many people here have lived it. If we're 5 years down the road or something like that, people are still, their homes unrepaired, maybe living in a travel trailer, a mobile home. But I just want to give kudos to the staff that really populates the Emergency Operations Center, not just our staff, but everybody who comes together, and even the council when you come in and lend your hand in the meetings or be on the conference call with us, everybody coming together and just pulling forward, pulling in the same direction to accomplish the things that were accomplished during Ida. And we talk about the exercise and planning. I mean, who plans to have a national fuel shortage during a major hurricane, and all those other obstacles that we overcame, the team in the EOC did. It's amazing to go back and think, and when we talk about the successes we had, and you kind of forget about it, but the people who were involved talk about it, you remember all of those things that people did during the storm. And one last message to leave you with, talking about the travel trailers and mobile homes. I checked with Michael's department today, and they had 965 units that we know of that are in the parish right now. And going into hurricane season, if you're in a substandard house, or if you're in a travel trailer, or you're in one of those mobile homes, you really need to start paying attention sooner than before. And the travel trailers is going to be at the threshold of a tropical depression, tropical storm, especially with what we're seeing with the rapid intensity and all those key phrases that are being thrown out. President Jewell's going to have to make protective action decisions like early on, and you're going to see messaging if we get those impacts earlier than normal, and we'll be making calls, and people are going to question it. Why are you calling evacuation during a depression? And that's why there's so many people in those travel trailers or substandard housing right now, or even houses that are still damaged that they're trying to live in. That we just want them to know. We don't want them to lose their life on top of everything that's happened so far over the last year. So with that, that's all I have. If y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Ms. Cooley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, I want to thank you and your staff every time I've asked to have a tour of your facility with any agency that I'm affiliated with. You've been more than gracious to have us over there, and I think it's absolutely something that every resident should see, the amount of work that goes into what you and your staff does. And a quick question, they can't take those travel trailers, can they, like to evacuate with?
No.
No, and in fact, FEMA has told them if we call an evacuation that they must evacuate. They must evacuate. So we'll be working with, planning and zoning, the sheriff's office, just to make sure if we do call that we knock on every one of those doors and let them know that they have it. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if they don't evacuate, they can have the mobile unit taken away from them.
Taken away. All right, thank you.
That's right. So I appreciate it. And we like I said before, we really like having people come to the EOC or go out and speak to them. It's a mutually beneficial because we could hear direct from the residents and have a conversation about what their concerns are, maybe what we're not providing that they might want or what's working for them. So we're always happy to do those tours. In addition to what Parish President Jewell just said about the trailers, Aptum, who's also a state contractor, started last week. They're actually tying down, strapping down the state trailers. So there's not going to be any way to move them. So over the next 4 weeks, they expect to have all the trailers in St. Charles Parish strapped down, which is going to provide, I guess, their way of explaining it is we won't have as much debris if we have a hurricane because the frame of the trailer will still be there. It's not providing a level of safety, and we don't want to give people a false sense of security by doing that, but they are strapping the trailer. So hopefully that doesn't fly away and cause more damage.
Jason, thank you, bud. Really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
All right, 2022-0178. Parish President remarks and report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll go ahead and get started here. I know they're pulling up the presentation on the screen. Okay, first we'll start with Public Works. There are 8 items on the agenda tonight that will be asking for the council approval for. I think 7 or 8. Please know that these items will be funded through the GOMESA revenue that we will recognize at the next council meeting. So we are not going to, if these are passed tonight, we are not going to issue any notice to proceed on those items until the funding source for them is recognized. All right, Wetland Watchers Park, we'll talk about that. This is nearing completion. The pumps are in for the park, and they're awaiting approval from CN Railroad to just make sure we get the electrical moved in and coordinate that with them. This is going to make Wetland Watchers more accessible and accessible for buses as well as tourists or the public. So we're looking forward to that coming through. Again, this is a project where we are concreting underneath the trestle, making a permanent road, and then you can see where that hose is going into that pipe. There will be a permanent sump pump in there that will keep that entrance dry. So next, we will go on to wastewater. Generators, as you all remember, we received some money from the American Rescue Plan, and part of that is, part of what we're using that money for in wastewater is to make some improvements to our lift stations by the placement of generators. So the generators have been ordered. The transfer switches are going to ship by the end of June. The generators should ship by the end of the year. Obviously, with the supply chain issues as they are, the lead time on these have greatly increased. I know we ordered the generators some time ago, and it's taking at least 12 months to procure them. By the time the generators do arrive, we will have the pads, the transfer switches installed, and this is going to be a part of our resiliency in general, but emergency preparedness for hurricanes as well. The cost of the generators was $1,220,679. Again, that's American Rescue dollars, and that is 17 generators and transfer switches. And we're not talking about small household generators. They're the big, like the big generators you see on the screen there. We also added larger fuel tanks so that the generators can run longer. Fuel was such a big issue after Hurricane Ida. We want to give ourselves as much lead time on having to procure fuel as we can. Right now, we are currently renting these generators at these lift stations, and we have to rent them for the entirety of hurricane season if we are going to make sure that we have them in the event a storm comes. I think in years past, they waited until we had a storm that was threatening us, and there was no generators to be had. But again, these generators protect us at large booster stations, lift stations, in the event of any sort of power outage. But for 5 months out of the year, we pay $262,500 to rent these generators. So based on rental costs, in about 4.5 years, they will have paid for themselves, and that's just if you're using that 6 month average there. So we will have them year round. So the next time that a crane on the back of a train knocks down a power line and takes out the booster station, that generator will automatically start, and the generators at all the other major lift stations. So again, there's 17 locations, and we've sized the generators based off of the size of those locations. Just want to give you the list of those. Booster Station, 3127 Booster Station, that's at the end of South Fashion. CC1, which is over by Ormond Park. Primrose, Norco Lift Station. We have one called St. John. There's the Parody Lift Station, Rue Landry Lift Station, Snowball. I have no idea where Snowball is. Beaupre, AMA, the Muntz Booster, JB Green Booster, the Booty Bank, Lincoln/Sycamore Booster, and Turtle Pond. Not all of these are boosters. Some of these are just larger lift stations. And remember, if we get into a large-scale power outage situation, we normally will try to get generators to these stations permanently while we leapfrog at some of our smaller stations. As they fill up, we pump them down. We go to the next one, pump it down, and get it all the way to our sewage treatment plants. So this is going to make life a lot easier, and it makes financial sense for the parish to move in this direction. Waterworks, we have meter reading infrastructure, which is going up. You can see the EOC tower there pictured. So today, Master Meter began installation of the base station at the Emergency Operations Center and 7 repeaters in the Luling, Hawnville, Kelowna, and Muntz area. This is billing cycles number 3 and number 5. The work should be complete by the end of this week. The department procured the base stations and repeaters directly from Master Meter. If you have a digital meter, it is provided by Master Meter. So these reader stations are manufactured by the same people who manufacture the meter. The department has been preparing for the repeater sites by installing the electrical that is required in advance of this infrastructure that's going up. Once the base stations and repeater sites are up and running, automatic red water meters that have so far been installed and or retrofitted in cycles 3 and 5 will be operational. This means that we will no longer need a meter reader to read those sites, not only manually, but even by driving by with the truck and picking up the signal. The signal will be automatically sent to these towers. This is a part of just an effort on a part of our administration to implement some technology to help us make us more efficient and allow us to utilize our resources a little bit better. This will also help once it's fully implemented on the number, how we bill and the consistency of our billing cycles. As you know, sometimes we have billing cycles with 31 or 35 days, which lead to slightly higher water bills and which lead to obviously questions from the public. So this will allow us to read more consistently. So again, the department is also working with its consultant, which is All South Engineering. You all passed an ordinance earlier this year to allow for us to develop the bid documentation for the new water meter installations. Those bid documents are in draft form at this time and being reviewed by Waterworks as well as procurement. The bid documents, once ready, will be advertised, and we're expecting to have water meter installation contractor in place by October of this year. Water meter installations will begin after the department issues a notice to proceed. Next, private property debris removal. The registration for this program has concluded. We put out some information last week to let everybody know that it was going to be ending. In addition to the applications, or not the applications, in addition to the homes identified by our windshield assessment from planning and zoning post-IDA, these are structures considered quote-unquote destroyed. There were 98 additional applications, 37 of which were considered new signups just recently. 21 applications were processed last week, and they are conducting 13 more inspections between today and tomorrow. And then after that, we will be waiting on FEMA to either approve or deny those homes. Remember, this is a program that is between FEMA, between our debris contractor and our debris monitor, as well as the homeowner. So the homeowner does have to consent to have their home torn down. So if there's a property where the homeowner says, no, we're not doing it, they will not be included in this. So we'll be trying to follow up with FEMA to make sure that that our contractors are given enough time to remove these homes, these derelict homes, from their foundations. Okay, going over to July 3rd, we are going to be having, as I mentioned earlier, our fireworks show. It's going to be on Sunday, July 3rd, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the West Bank Bridge Park. Bring the whole family out for some good food and fun. St. Charles Parish resident Ella Grace will sing the national anthem. She sang last year, and she was so good we had to bring her right back to do it again. The Bucktown All-Stars are going to provide the entertainment this year, and we are going to have some food, some drinks from various vendors, as we always do, and we're looking forward to that event. So please come out July 3rd, 6 to 9 p.m. The fireworks will start at dark. Parks and Recreation, wanted to give our council some update on just the restoration work since Hurricane Ida. It's been steady going, consistent. We wanted to let you know that lights have been restored at the East Bank Bridge Park and Ormond Park. A full list of parks and a full list of open parks and fields can be found on our website at stcharlesparish.gov/news. The lighting really has been the slowest portion of this. Procuring the poles has been slow, and getting enough contractors to give quotes on these jobs to make sure that we have competitive pricing has been a challenge. But we've, if we get one quote, we try really hard to go back out and get two or three more to make sure that we are getting the best deal for the taxpayer. Additionally, Veterans Memorial Plaza is coming along. If you get a chance, go out there and take a look. It is really starting to shape up. The trees are in. We're waiting to put the roof on the structure, which you can see there. The structure of that, the roof line of that structure also matches the roof line of the community center. And what we really wanted to do is make sure that it really flowed together, that they looked like they were built at the same time, or that it was meant to be there. And so it really is coming along. and we're looking forward to that being complete. There is a little bit of issue getting some of the main pieces of the monuments, which is the black granite monuments, which are going to have every branch of the military. So we're working with the contractor to do whatever we can to speed that up and get that in and make sure that it's done correctly. And we want to do as best we can to match the Gold Star Family Memorial, which will basically be sitting right where the person taking the picture was standing there. In fact, you can see the kind of the rock divider between the slab for the Gold Star Family Memorial. And I really just want to thank the family of Wilton Hugh, who made a very generous donation for St. Charles Parish to have that memorial. But the other important part of this project is that we want to make sure that people have a place to honor their veteran. And we want you to order a brick to honor that veteran. Forms can be found at our website. We actually made a special link to it. It's now www.stcharlesparish.gov/bricks. You can go to any one of our libraries to find one of the forms as well. And I believe they are adjusting the form online so that it can be filled out online and printed. We do ask, if possible, that you have proof of service, just to make sure that all of the people that we are going to honor there are indeed veterans. And the payment with your order form can be brought to the United Way of St. Charles at 13145 Highway 90 in Boothee. Over onto the East Bank Trailhead, the work has begun and construction is underway to upgrade the existing site by adding a pavilion and upgrading the restrooms as well as picnic tables. The council approved that last week at the prior meeting. The Ashroom Park and Restroom Storage, you can see, oh, we might have a duplicate there. But if you pass by the Ashton soccer field, you can see that the ground has been broken. The contractor has started to put that facility in as well. That one was a long time coming. And additionally, registration for fall sports is open through July 11th. We talked about that at the last meeting. We want all of our residents who want to participate in fall sports to make sure that they get signed up. We're offering fall baseball, fall tennis, tackle football, flag football, volleyball, and cheerleading. Due to popular demand, flag football and volleyball is now open to children up to ages 15 years old. For more information regarding registration, visit scpparksandrec.com, as well as you can call 985-783-5090. Additionally, a bus of seniors and adults 55 and older are headed to the Silver Slipper on Wednesday. The casino trip is scheduled for July 20th, where we will go to Hollywood Casinos, and registration is now open for that on scpparksandrec.com under senior athletics, and the trip costs $10 per person. Lunch is not included in that $10. Now we want to go to just a special recognition to Kenny Guidry. I want to congratulate Coach Kenny Guidry as he represented the state of Louisiana as a coach for the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando, Florida. Out of more than 300 athletes, 8 swimmers placed 7th or higher, and his team took home 3 gold medals, 4 silver, and 4 bronze. So congratulations to the team, for all who participated, and for Kenny, who was the coach for that group. Lastly, we'll give an update really quick. Through June 7th through 9th, I visited Washington, D.C. with about 45 other people, including many other parish presidents, mayors, legislators, levy district representatives, environmental groups, contractors, as well as nonprofits, to discuss Go Mesa revenues sharing, particularly the RISE Act. The RISE Act is an act in the Senate sponsored by Senator Cassidy and Senator Sheldon Whitehouse that would adjust the percentage of our revenue from offshore oil leases from 37.5% to 50%, as well as lift the cap on Go Mesa revenues for the Gulf Coast states. This would lead to significantly more money for not only the state, which uses the money constitutionally. It's constitutionally set for for coastal restoration, and as well as help a lot of local governments to do various drainage or coastal restoration type projects. Additionally, the RISE Act creates the framework for offshore wind lease sales. So just recently, there was an offshore wind lease sale off the coast of New York, which generated $4 billion for the federal government. If the RISE Act would have been in place, that would have meant $2 billion of those dollars would have went to the state of New York. North Carolina just recently had a wind sale. It was about $380 million. They would have gotten half of that. And we know that wind energy is coming to the Gulf of Mexico each year as windmills become more efficient. The wind generated in the Gulf of Mexico becomes much more economical for windmills. And frankly, we have the people, the skills, and the know-how to put these things in the water. Probably much easier than setting a windmill than it is setting an oil rig. So we want to be proactive and get some framework in place for that. So that's what we were up there doing. We had a lot of great conversations. We met with over 40 different congressional offices, 41 to be exact, 20 on the House side, 21 on the Senate side. We look forward to hopefully seeing that bill move through the process in Congress. All right, lastly, open jobs, carpenter, code clerk, distribution, maintenance, equipment operators 1, 2, 3, 4, grass cutters 1 and 2, groundskeepers, laborer, pump operator helper, pump technician helper, shop mechanic helper. To apply, visit stcharlesparish.gov/employment or call 783-5000 for more information. That concludes my report, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Jew. Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. The bricks for the memorial, since that money is being paid to United Way, does that qualify it as a charitable contribution?
I will check on that. We utilize United Way because obviously they are a nonprofit, and it was the easiest. But let me check on that, and I will let you know.
That'd be good. Thanks.
All righty. Ordinance and resolutions introduced for publication. Public hearings Tuesday, July 5th, 2022, 6 p.m. Council Chambers, Courthouse, Hanville. 2022-0176, 2022-0180, 2022-0188, 2022-0189, 2022-0191, 2022-0192. Planning and zoning positions, 2022-0154, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish zoning ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from R1A to R1AM on Lot 8, Square 10, Village of Hanville, 220 Han Street, Hanville, as requested by Joan T. Knight. Mr. Albert, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is requesting the rezoning in order to put a mobile home on the site. The department recommended denial, as did the Planning Commission after review. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2022-0154 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a part of my district, and I have received several calls from many of the residents surrounding the area, and they are not in favor, and I am also not in favor of this as well.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Any other council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0154. And that motion fails. Ordinances scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting. 2022-0155, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Alpha Testing and Inspection Incorporated to perform testing services for Heather Oaks Subdivision, Luling, Phase 2, project number P180807, in the amount not to exceed $35,000. Mr. Palamo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a contract with Alpha Testing to perform the inspection services for the Phase 2 of the Heather Oaks subdivision, very similar to what we did on Phase 1. It'll provide us all the concrete, the soil testing results, and make sure they're in compliance with the specifications. And it's important to note that these amount and services are reimbursable by the developer when we get down to final dedication, and we ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Palamo. File number 2022-0155 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hey, Mike, can we request a sample box built by Alpha for the concrete cylinders so we don't have kids rolling them down the street when nobody's there in between the time they set them and the time they pick them up?
Sure.
Because that happens plenty of times.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Any further council discussion? Okay, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0155. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0168, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a change order number 1 for the West Bank Yard Building, project number P19040, to decrease the contract amount by $4,792.02. Mr. Palamo.
Okay, this is the final change order for this project. This will close it out. It is a decrease in cost. We had approximately $20,000 that were removed from the project for infrastructure relocation that wasn't necessary. But in addition to that, we had 3 additional, some exterior concrete walkways. We had to make some improvements to the men's bathroom, and we had to have 1 additional data drop location. So we had about $15,000 in additions, $20,000 in deductions, so the net is a reduction of $4,792.02, and we ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Palamone. File number 2022-0168 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Yes, have they moved into this building yet?
Yes.
Okay. So that was my only question.
In fact, I think we have a ribbon cutting.
Yeah, we're going to have a ribbon cutting for it. And then I just wanted to mention, because it was my first year, we talked about the trailers and everything. The trailers, the company did come to assess a plan to remove the trailers, so those should be removed in the next couple weeks.
Any further council discussion? All right, seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0168. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0169, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Terracon Consultants Incorporated to perform engineering services for roadway boring 2022, project number P220502, in the amount not to exceed $85,000. Mr. Palamo.
Okay, so this is something new that we been wanting to do for a while, and we finally got around to putting it in. What we want to do is when we do our maintenance program, we want to have some borings on what the thickness of the asphalt is, so that when we start cold planing it off, we're not destroying the base underneath it. We do not have any of this information in the parish right now. So as we start getting next year's, we want to have those soil borings so we know exactly what we want to do when we get the asphalt contractor out there, or if there's going to be the concrete panel replacements, so we don't destroy the base underneath the roadway. We want to start building a database of all the parish roads, and this contract will start getting us towards that.
Thank you, Mr.
And we
Palamone.
ask for your support.
File number 2022-0169 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Ms. Cluley.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Is this only going to happen on the roads that are being worked on, or is this on?
We're initially going to put the roads that we're planning to do for the year, but if we have monies left over, we're going to go start doing other roads as well.
Okay.
Ultimately, we want to have every road in the parish have a boring so we know exactly what conditions we have on the roadways.
Yeah, so you're starting with the ones that would
Correct,
be-
as we start the next year's program.
Michael, we're going to go back and some of the ones where we had to actually add asphalt and where we know that. I mean, I can tell you, Evangeline, I know the bill was a little bit higher because I think Councilman Dufresne said we had to come in and take out an extra inch or 2 inches we didn't know about it. But we're going to also get those kind of in.
Eventually, we want to get every road in the parish bored. These are about 3 or 4 feet deep bores. They're not really deep bores. So eventually we will have all of that. That's some of the problems we ran into. Same thing happened even on the Paul Mallard project when we started doing borings. We found out we had so much, the DOTD found out we had so much asphalt that just kept getting layered on. That's why we had to go back and change the cross-section of that highway, that roadway.
Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks. We're moving forward in life. Thank y'all.
Any further council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0169. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0170, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of professional services agreement with Hartman Engineering Incorporated to perform engineering services for Lemoyne Lane, Hurst Street, and St. Mark Street drainage improvements projects. Project number P220201 in the amount not to exceed $194,931. Mr. Palamone.
Okay, so this project and also the one that's going to be following this one are kind of together. They're both priority 1 and 2 of the Amos Zeller's master drainage plan. Both projects were awarded to Hartman Engineering. It's basically to improve the canal conveyances down to the AMA pump station that's currently being upgraded. In addition, we're going to have a bore underneath the UP Railroad. It's going to look a little weird because you got both contracts had the exact same dollar amount. What happened was the consultant put together the proposal for the whole project as one. We asked them to split it up. They said, well, if you guys don't mind, just take the dollars and split it down the middle. So that's exactly what DPW did on that contract, and we ask for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Palamone. File number 2022-0170 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello. My name is Melanie Callender. I live at 129 Zeller Street, and I'm also addressing 143 Zeller Street, which is right next door. I ask that y'all approve this. Please, please, please support us. AMA has multiple issues. You guys know that, but this is a step in the right direction. I started asking for help in 2013. This is the first administration that has given me hope that anything will be done to help the people in AMA with drainage. The outfalls, for some reason, have been neglected. When I was growing up, they were always maintained by the parish. Something happened along the way. I don't know what happened. That stopped. So it's a mess. As residents, we've done what we can. We've dug trenches behind our houses to the ditches. Some of our residents have had to add to their garages so the water doesn't come in. St. Mark Church Rectory had to add to its garage, had to raise the sidewalk to the rectory and to the office. There's one home, what he talks about her street, the home adjacent to her street, that lady permanently has sandbags in front of one of her doors. It's not right. Something needs to be done. I'm asking, please do it. I'm appreciating this administration. Mr. Palamone came out, a bunch of people came out. Please help. Water went in my mom's utility room 3 times between 2017 and 2019. This administration, when it came in, within 4 or 5 months, came and dug a ditch in the back, re-established the ditch, whatever you want to call it. The water has not gone in her utility room since. So every little bit that we do will help. I'm so nervous. But just, we've needed this for a long, long time, and I'm asking y'all, I'm begging y'all, please just do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Callen. Does anyone else like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mr. Dufresne.
Mike, is it safe to say that the 5 in a row are all from the stuff off the master drainage plan on the agenda?
Yes.
All of the next improvements?
Darby,
Yeah.
Engineers Canal, and Scheck Snyder, they all referenced in the.
And the first 2 you said were priority ones?
Yeah, the ones for the Aimer are priority 1 and priority 2 from that watershed.
Okay.
That's this one and the next one to follow.
Chairman, can I mention something? Just the way they were broken up, and I can get you a copy of that for AMA, is canal conveyance improvements, and it made sense to do both the primary and secondary canal, phase 1 and 2 together. Just like if you look at the phases 3 and 4, phase 3 of the AMA master plan is to build a new pump station at the railroad tracks, basically where the primary and secondary channel intersect. And then phase 4 is to build an outfall. We consider those two to be one project as well. So we really call this phase 1 and the pump station and discharge as phase 2.
All right, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0170. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0171, an ordinance approving an authorization and execution of professional services agreement with Hartman Engineering Incorporated to perform engineering services for the UP Railroad Drainage Ditch and Outfall Improvements project number P220205, in the amount not to exceed $194,931. Mr. Palamone.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier on the last one, these two go hand in hand with the Amos Sellers watershed. Again, this one's going to be increasing the capacity of the canals, as well as this has the jack and bore under the UP Railroad tracks and the BNSF Railroad tracks. And we ask your support.
Thank you, Mr. Palamone. File number 2022-0171 is now open for public hearing. If does anyone like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, in council discussion, Ms. Cluley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Palamone, this does not include engineering for the pump station, right?
The pump station's under construction right now, not the new pump station at Parish President Jewell.
Well, where this would be located,
Excuse me?
at this location?
No, it's
Right.
just that this is just to make the improvements to the channels, which is going to complement, it's going to complement the expansion that is currently under construction.
For drainage.
Yeah, but the new pump station at that intersection there is not a part of this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Council discussion. Please cast your votes for file number 2022-0171. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0172, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Linfield Hunter and Julius Incorporated to perform engineering services for the new Sarpy Pump Station improvements, project number P220230, in a lump sum amount of $113,215. Mr. Palamone.
Okay, this is Linfield Hunter and Junis. They're going to, we're going to start with a conceptual design phase on this project due to the high cost of currently the materials. So in order to get a better construction estimate, we have to know exactly what we're going to be doing. It'll be a more cost-effective proposal for the parish in the long run. So we are going to go forward with this part. If you all approve it, we'll come back when we get this done with a final design phase contract. But this will make an evaluation for the existing conditions and configuration of the pump station, determine the area available for the proposed expansion. We are increasing the CFS from 150 to 250 CFS, and this also includes topographic survey and geotechnical services. And we ask for your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Palamone. File number 2022-0172 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Mike, this is part of the P1, because it wasn't New Sarpy Pump Station approved?
Yeah, this was actually New Sarpy Priority 2. The two down the road will be the Scheck-Snyder, which is Priority 1.
Priority 1, okay. So please cast your votes for file number 2022-0172. And that motion passes unanimously.
2 more.
2022-0173, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Volkart Incorporated to perform planning services for the Engineers Canal Pump Station Improvements Project, project number P220206, in the lump sum of $57,266. Mr. Palamone.
Okay, so Norco Watershed Priority Number 1, this project. Again, we're going forward with a conceptual design so we can get a better handle on exactly what we want to do regarding potential sump expansion as well as pump replacements and sizes and configuration. We currently feel that the station is not operating at its efficiency, especially by adding additional CFS to this pump station. So again, conceptual design. It also includes topographic survey of the pump station and the surrounding areas, and we ask for your support. And Bob, this is the last project for this evening that is going to be on the Go Mesa funding.
File number 2022-0173 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0173. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0174, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Professional Engineering Consultants Corporation to perform engineering services for the Scheck-Snyder Pump Station Improvements Project, project number P220207, in the lump sum amount of $20,500. Mr. Palamone.
Okay, so PEC, again, this is the new Sarpy watershed priority number 1. Again, we're going to go with a conceptual design phase to get a better cost estimate together. We're going to have to do some reconfiguration of the pump station. We're going to be increasing from 260 to 300 CFS. So the conceptual design phase will include a proposed expansion, provide recommendations on new pump sizes and configurations, and the required size of the sump and other items to start the full design of the project. Conceptual cost is $20,000. Included in that. That's it, just conceptual. We don't need any surveying at this point in time, and we ask for your support.
File number 2022-0174 is now open for public hearing. If anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0174. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0175, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a contract with NFT Group LLC for the St. Charles Parish Courthouse second floor renovation, project number GBCH 0518 in the amount of $6,179,000. Mr. Messerly.
Good evening, Parish President, Council. This project has been in planning for over 2 years. Originally, this project was going to be a multi-phase project, mainly because we took the work, because we had to work around the judges and their cost schedule and their court schedules. Since the damage of the Hurricane Ida has forced the judges to relocate, we have been able to do it all in one phase. This will save us time and money as far as anything going with the noise and reduction of that. Architecturally, we are enlarging the courtroom so that each courtroom will be able to conduct a jury trial at any time they need to, and we'll be enlarging the judges' chambers so that meetings can be conducted in there as well for themselves. Some of the work being done is not only for the second floor renovation. As you know, we've been redoing the air conditioning throughout the building. This will complete all the rest of the units that are left, including 1 and 3. This will also bring us down to the first floor, which means the third and the second floor will be completely 100% cured and done at that time. We will tie into existing ductwork on the first floor to be done at a later date. We will be updating the electrical, the IT, the communication throughout the second floor, changing out transformer that was damaged during Ida. We will be addressing the infrastructure of the plumbing as well. Throughout this process, we'll be keeping up with Ida repair cost compared with the proclaimed renovation cost. So we'll be able to separate that out as we go as well. I have with me Michael Tabb with Murray, and Usman is here as well. If you have any questions for anything about this, we're here to answer them at this point.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
2022-0175 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0175. And that passes unanimously. Persons to address the council. 2022-0187, Ms. Rianda Pierre, Community Programs to Address the Needs, Paul Mallet Revitalization Plan. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, how are you?
Good. You're going to have 5 minutes, okay?
Awesome. I know that it also says that an additional 3 minutes can be granted with 2/3 of the vote. It's probably going to take me 7 minutes and 24 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and ask for that up front. If it can't be done up front, it has to be done in the end. If you don't want to grant it, that's fine as well. But I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I won't be for you long. Like I said, 7:24, I kind of time myself. My voice won't allow it. I'm not sick. I'm just tired. And probably the best reflection of my current state, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Tonight, I'm coming as a private citizen, as an observer. Though many on the council I have come to know and work with over the years with Paul Mallet Revitalization, this may be the first time for some of you to ever have read the plan that was sent with the petition to address. The last time I came before as an individual to address the council, it was ironically on the same night Ms. Fonseca came before the council as the grants officer to ask the council to approve the community center, Edward Dufresne Community Center, for the grant. And that night, it was unanimously approved by the council. Then Ms. Myra asked me to come and speak on behalf of the youth programs because I had went to and had been going to her then for community programs to address the needs. That night, I did not speak, though, because it was approved unanimously and because I believe that the new facility would house youth programs that we desperately needed in our parish. Unfortunately, because of the new design of the community center, I was told that the ACs could not fit on the floor and some of the programs had to be cut. I'm not sure if youth programs were one of those things that were cut from the new community center, but what I do know is that today we still are in need of programs to address our youth in our community. And the community center is not open after school and in the summer months when our kids need it most. Neither is it in walking a distance for some of these kids that are in desperate need. So today, I am again standing in the gap, believing with everything in me that now is the right time to do what is right. I'm encouraged because there are other organizations that are also coming to request the need. I have lived on both sides of the track. You know, if you're on the West Bank, then you kind of know what I mean. I've gone to schools in Luland, Carver, Landry, J.B. Martin, Lakewood, Mimosa, and I've lived in Lagatuda for 30 years. And it may surprise some of you that the amenities offered in communities vary depending on what voting track you're in. I have kids of my own, and I'm concerned, for them. And I know that now we have an opportunity to provide programs for them and services. Last month, I was reminded again, COVID revealed the gaps in our communities, and the response in Ida showed how wide they were. Last month, when I sat here, I calculated how much money was approved by the council in one night and allocated for resources, parks and recreation, and even a salary to research parks, a revised plan for Parks and Rec. Over $860,000 was approved that night. I had the pleasure to speak with Mr. Dwayne Froway about and he sent me a copy of the draft of the master plan in 2022. Interestingly enough, I have a couple pages, but I won't use the rest of my time for that. But on page 11, it talks about providing equal access to fair and a distribution of community facilities for all residents of the parish. The park needs on page 13 shows the communities that need it most are Booty, Luland, St. Rose, and Destrehan. And page 19, it gave a list of the inventory of the parks that we have in our parish, the West Bank being the largest, 28 acres and it's leased. And I know that Parks and Recs receive money from the millage and also from the general fund. In closing, I have a couple questions and one big ask. And my question would be, what are the exact plans for the funds that I know at least Ms. Cluley has set aside for the Paul Mallard community. When will we make this community a priority in allocating these funds? In 2019, Bayer committed $400,000 for a linear park on Paul Mallard Road to begin when Dicamba was finished. Well, that Dicamba was closed down, and there has not been any movement on that park. What is the holdup for our sidewalks? And lastly, my big ask.
I have a motion by Councilman Dufresne, second by Ms. Billings, to go ahead and extend it for 3 minutes. That passes. You have additional proof.
Thank you very much. Lastly, my big ask. In the Paul Mallard Revitalization Plan, there was a part of that plan that identified a catalytic development, an area in phase 2, I believe, it was the Wynwood Shopping Center. Now, I know the parish has utilized that facility for storage of documents before and had a lease agreement with them. If we can lease that building to store documents, can we either lease that building the same way we are leasing or whoever we're paying for the West Bank Bridge Park? I don't know. But can we lease that building or purchase that building and develop that building to provide what Mr. Dwayne Foray also mentioned? There is a need for gymnasiums in our parish. We know, and that video exposed the needs in that community for programs, preventative measures to help the youth get off the streets and provide them with positive programs. And if the parish tonight, ironically, I'm following, can approve $6 million for the renovation of the second floor of this building, how much can we approve tonight to buy or renovate that site that would benefit the entire community? And lastly, I'll let you know that the first time I met, I want to recharacterize him, Keith Robinson, the guy you saw in that video initially, was at the YMCA when he was in middle school. He was bubbly, he was fun, he always cracked jokes, and he always called me Miss Rihanna. When I saw him a couple years ago on the street, I walked up to him, pulled up his pants, and he said, "Hey, Miss Rihanna, how you doing?" I didn't realize how old he had gotten, but he still remembered who I was from when he was in middle school. I saw him last week. He was out of rehab, cut his hair. I screamed because I hadn't seen him since that video. I couldn't watch the video because it broke my heart. I couldn't see it. And this is something that I'm sure the sheriff can also stand behind. The United Way can do a $1 million idea I don't know the parish can support. But I walked up to him and I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Great. I feel great. I look great." And he said, "Hey, Miss Rihanna, it's good to see you." And he said, "I'm ready for a job. I'm ready to get back on track." So I'm asking, what could his life have become if our community and our council would not have closed the YMCA and opened up a community center inside that neighborhood where they can walk to and we provide resources? So that's all I have to say. I thank you so much for your time and for your extension.
Thank you, Ms.
And if you have any of those answers to those questions, I would greatly appreciate knowing. Thank you.
Did you want her to speak?
Yeah, I just want to mention, you mentioned the Paul Mallard revitalization.
Yes.
I knew you were going to do that, mention that tonight, so we went ahead and got an update from our engineer. So I'll go ahead and read that real quick. This is as of 10 a.m. this morning. The roadway and drainage plans are at 95% development. The 95% for the roadway and drainage plans were submitted to the DOTD on April 29th of this year. the water and sewer redesign because the utilities are going to have to be relocated to accommodate the subsurface drainage and the sidewalks is at 75% and will be submitted to the DOTD shortly. The DOTD is currently working with some of the other providers in the area, mainly gas and communications utilities, to make sure that they're not going to be affected by it. But the project is still on track to be bid this September 2022. So I want to give you an update on that. In addition, just wanted to say that we offer a wide variety of programs for youth through our Office of Community Services. I don't know if you know Ms. Joan Diaz, but she does a great job. Currently, right now, there's summer feeding going on, summer enrichment, and at all of our community centers across the parish, all of our programming is completely full. So we are doing a lot in regards to community services in that. I know that we don't have a community center on Paul Mallard per se, but we do have community centers throughout the parish that we are doing enrichment at for our youth throughout St. Charles Parish. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, dear. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President Jewell.
Thank you.
Resolutions. 2022-0181, a resolution in support of Planning and Zoning Commission's approval of 2022-9-SPU for an accessory dwelling in an RA1 zoning district, 1599 River Road, Hanville, as requested by Mary and Corey Bro. Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The application and request meets all of the special permit use requirements. The department recommended approval, and the Planning Commission subsequently approved it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. File number 2022-0181 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Council discussion, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a part of my district, and I'm also in support of this as well.
Any further council discussion? All righty. Please cast your votes for file number 2022-0181. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0182, a resolution approving and authorizing St. Charles Parish to submit a grant application to the United States Department of Agriculture's Rural Housing Service Fiscal Year 2022 Housing Preservation Grant Program. I don't see Ms. Chess on. Mr. Dewsome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's kind of nice. I'm Grant, and I get to handle the grant stuff today. So, this, as a requirement for this grant application and resolution approved by the council, is necessary. So, that's what we're here for. So, we'd appreciate your support.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dewsome. File number 2022-0182 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2022-0182. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, appointments. 2022-0120, a resolution to appoint a member to the St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission as a District 7 representative. The council will confirm the nomination from the District 7 council member to the Planning and Zoning Commission to fill the vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of Mr. Scott M. Galliano, a 4-year term to begin immediately and expire May 31st, 2026. Ms. Michelle DeBruyer, did I say that right? Yeah. is our nominee. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Mr. Bouye to the St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission representing District 7. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0160, a resolution to appoint a member to the Regional Planning Commission. The council chairman will accept nominations to the Regional Planning Commission to fill a vacancy caused by the resignation of Bishop Otis Kenner in accordance with ordinance number 16-12-4. The board shall be comprised of 5 members: the parish president, 2 members of the St. Charles Parish Council, term concurrent with the governing authority, and 1 member who must not otherwise hold elected or appointed office in the parish of St. Charles, to be appointed by the parish council and approved by the parish president. Unexpired term to begin immediately and to expire January 8, 2023. Do we have any nominations? Okay. I'd like to nominate Pastor Thomas Hines. Okay, so we have a nominee, Pastor Thomas Hines. Thank you. So we have a nominee, Pastor Thomas Hines. I have a motion by Ms. Cooley, second by Ms. Fonseca to close the nominations. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0161, a resolution to appoint an ad hoc member with a health professional background to the Board of Directors for the Ark of St. Charles. The council will confirm the nomination to the Board of Directors of the Ark of St. Charles ad hoc member with a health professional background to fill a vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of Dr. Jeffrey Quo, M.D. 2-year term to begin July 1st, 2022 and expire June 30th, 2024. Dr. Quo has served 2 consecutive terms and cannot be reappointed according to the Ark of St. Charles bylaws. However, on May 5th, 2022, the Ark board members approved for any 2021 and 2022 board members whose term of office is due to expire June 30th be extended for up to 1 additional 2-year term. Our nominee is Dr. Jeffrey S. Quo, M.D. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Dr. Jeffrey S. Quo, M.D. to the Board of Directors for the Ark of St. Charles Parish. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0164, a resolution to appoint a member to the St. Charles Parish Communications District representing the St. Charles Parish Council. The council chairman will accept nominations to the St. Charles Parish Communications District to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Thomas Barreca, Jr., 4-year term to begin August 19, 2022 and expire August 19, 2026. Is there any nominations? I'd like to make a nomination. Can I? I'd like to nominate Chief Kenny Winning, Jr., Norco Fire Department. I need a motion and a second to close nominations, please. I have a motion by Ms. Cluley, second by Ms. Gordon. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that motion passes unanimously. 2022-0179, a resolution to appoint a member of the St. Charles Parish Civil Service Board. On Tuesday, July 5th, 2022, the council chairman will accept nominations to the Civil Service Board to fill the vacancy created by the expiration of the term of Mr. Ralph Wilderson, a 3-year term to begin August 1st, 2022, and expire August 1st, 2025. Meetings, announcements, and notices. Meetings. Housing Authority, Tuesday, June 28, 2022, 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Hospital Service District Number 1, Wednesday, June 29, 2 p.m. council chambers. St. Charles Parish Council, Tuesday, July 5, 2022, 6 p.m. council chambers. The 32nd Annual Independence Day Celebration, Sunday, July 3rd, 2022, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West Bank Bridge Park, Luling, a fireworks display at dark. And then we'll have a parish holiday Monday, July 4th, 2022, as Independence Day. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms. Billings, second by Ms. Gordon. Please cast your votes to adjourn. And that motion passes unanimously. On behalf of the Parish Council, wish everyone a happy 4th of July. We have a great evening, and we are officially adjourned.